The injuries that have taken place recently at first base, and we started touching on it, I would say 2 weeks ago, Coca, when Arise got the concussion in San Diego, whenever that was, with that collision at first base. We saw 2 happen over the last few days, and this is it. We've now had it happen. So the inflection point happens when you can no longer dismiss an injury. Sometimes it only takes one injury, like when Buster Posey gets run over at the plate by Scott Cousins in a game involving the Marlins and the Giants, and they change the rules of how a catcher and can defend home plate and basically change the rules on collisions. When Arise got a concussion, it started the discussion of the possibility of having a lane for the first base defender and the runner who's trying to get first base. And we talked about having side-by-side bases. When Jose Ramirez, one of the greatest players in baseball, a perennial finalist for MVP, you're talking about a Guardian player who, were he not on the Guardians and were he to have had more postseason success, you would be talking about him as one of the best players of this generation. That's how good he is, folks. When he gets hurt the way he did at first base, running out a batted ball, people's attention is all of a sudden you're sitting up more. You're thinking more. Then when you get a ruptured patellar tendon by the Red Sox first baseman who was running to first base, clipped his foot on the bag, ruptured his left patellar tendon. He's out for the year. That's it. So the first thing that happens is that an owner calls the commissioner and speaks to him and says that I've had enough. We got to have the side-by-side bases. Then the union gets involved and they talk about the fact that we don't want to really make this part of collective bargaining. This is not a trade. This is about keeping people healthy. This is about us wanting our players not to be hurt. And by the way, owners have the exact same goal. It's the one area, interestingly enough, where the union and management are totally aligned, because nothing is worse than a player without a guaranteed contract getting hurt. It's bad for the player. It's bad for the team. Where it differs is like old people injuries, where the union doesn't want to put an age limit on player contracts or a limit on the number of years that a contract will be, much like exists in the NBA, where you can't go out of your mind selling contracts to old guys. But the union is fine with that in baseball. They want old people to get guaranteed money. So that is where we differ. But where it's the same as with young players when they miss time, and Casas being out means that this is going to be an issue that is going to get taken care of in the next collective bargaining agreement. And there's not even a doubt in my mind. While it may not be what Coca wants, Coca would like some sort of beanbag chair as the second bag, something very cushy and nice so you can run through it and not worry about hyperextending a knee or rupturing a tendon or spraining an ankle or tripping over the bag and eating dirt. I do not believe that it will come with a different material, but I do believe there will be a second first base, which means first base will be twice as big. So I'm going to do a bit of a longer wait to see here, Coca, because I believe that this longer, bigger, wider first base is going to happen, but not before the next collective bargaining agreement. So the wait to see is pretty simple in that it will be part of the next CBA, making first base bigger. Now, why do I say that? Because you would think that if there's something that can be gotten with great agreement, because you are in that window where if a young player is getting hurt and owners and the union doesn't want it, that then it would happen, that it would change. But here's the difference. When you are as close to a new negotiation as they are, you are in a position where neither side says yes to the sky being blue. Because the view is that you're giving up leverage of some sort. The view is that you want to hold everything for trading purposes during the course of a negotiation. So what you do is, hey, do you agree that this table we're sitting at is square? Well, no. No, it seems more like a pentagon shape. It seems not exactly perfect. All right, I don't want to argue about the shape of the table anymore. Do you agree that we should have a second base? Well, no. Wait a minute. You definitely agree. No, we don't. That's really how the conversation goes. And so therefore, it has to wait to be part of the actual collective bargaining agreement, which is why on April 25th, I told you my wait to see only 10 days ago was there won't be a double base next season. And my different wait to see is there will be a double base once there's a new CBA. Because what a terrible way to go in. Have you ever done that with your significant other, Coca, or spouse or friend, where you have an argument about something and you take a position that you know is wrong, but you're doing it because you feel as though that if you don't take the position, it's going to sacrifice a future position? So, hey, I don't want to have to go to the next family reunion, so I'm not going to go to this one, even though this one's in Hawaii and the next one is in Des Moines. Not that I don't love the point two of you from Des Moines, but you know what I'm saying. And so you say, "Oh, listen, I'm out on Hawaii," like cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's one of my favorite expressions. Who doesn't do that? Wouldn't it be great, Coca, if we were told by someone when we were doing that and we actually believed them? But alas, we don't.